Ukraine is appearing to gain more ground in its counteroffensive against Russia.
We've got reports from Russian-occupied cities indicating that President Putin's attempt to officially claim parts of Ukraine is not working. Kyiv is also hinting at more progress in the southern city of Kherson. Plus, Russia announced it is retreating from the eastern city of Lyman. That's a major setback for Moscow just one day after it declared the area now part of Russia. Joining us now is George Beebe, the director of grand strategy at the Quincy Institute. He is a former director of Russia analysis at the CIA and was former Vice President Dick Cheney's chief advisor on matters of Russia. So let's begin with the latest. Russia claiming a part of eastern Ukraine is part of Russia, in fact, and now Ukraine saying they've retaken that area. It seems like things are going quite poorly for Vladimir Putin. What's your take on it?
Well, I think there's no question that things are going poorly for Putin. He announced last week that Russia was going to be mobilizing in response to the very successful Ukrainian counteroffensives that had occurred. Then they went ahead and held the referenda in the Donbass region and then recognized that the results of that vote on Friday and proceeded with annexing this territory. And now, despite all that, he is suffering yet more military setbacks. So there are an awful lot of Russian nationalists on the right wing of Russia's political spectrum that are quite upset with how this is going. And I think Putin is under a considerable amount of domestic political pressure right now to turn things around.
You know, you mentioned some of those victories from Ukraine. Now Ukraine is also claiming to be making progress in the south, besides the northeast that we had covered and discussed. What's the latest in Ukraine's counteroffensive around Kherson?
Right. The Ukrainians had some success in the north, and they had much slower going against Kherson in the south. That looks like they're starting to make a little bit more progress down there. And this is quite significant from Russia's perspective, because losing Kherson could have strategic implications for Russia's ability to protect Crimea, which they annexed back in 2014. So I think that if Kherson falls, the Russian military is facing quite a significant setback, and I think that could have real political implications for Putin's own rule.
I mean, imagine if they lose Crimea as well.
Yeah, you know, George, I mean, reading all of this coverage out of Ukraine, part of me takes it with a grain of salt because I know that much of the Western reporting comes from being embedded with Ukrainian troops and Ukrainian officials, and so you're getting that side, and you're also seeing things with your own eyes. But I also wonder if Russia is in a better position than it seems, because at the same time as we hear that they're losing, we've also got Ukrainian President Zelensky submitting an accelerated application to join NATO. It seems like he's trying to run up that flag pretty quickly. What's your take on what the reality is for Russia on the ground in Ukraine, and also how Putin might respond to the possibility that Ukraine in the near term could be part of NATO?
Which is what started everything.
Yeah.
Well, I think Russia is facing a near-term crunch. Over time, I think things get better for the Russian military if they can make it through the next few months, because they still do have quite serious advantages in overall manpower and in artillery and munitions over Ukraine and its Western supporters. The winter could have an impact on Europe and Europe's willingness to continue this war, depending on how cold things get, quite frankly. So is Russia in trouble over the near term? Yeah, they are. But if they get through this period, I think things look a little bit brighter for them militarily thereafter. Now, in terms of Ukrainian membership in NATO, the United States has been, of course, quite unwilling to move forward on that. It's an extremely neuralgic point for the Russians. They've said that this is a red line and, of course, threatened to use nuclear weapons if things get quite bad. Moving forward with bringing Ukraine into NATO right now would, of course, make Ukraine an Article 5 country, meaning the United States would be committing itself to go to war in the event that Ukraine is attacked. So it would be an extraordinarily risky step. I very much doubt that the United States would proceed with this under the circumstances right now.
So in other words, forget about what Vladimir Putin might do in response. It sounds like the U.S. And its NATO allies saying yes to this accelerated application would mean you are now all engaged in a shooting war in Ukraine against Russia right now.
The ultimate provocation.
Right. Okay.
That's what everybody's been fearing. Well,
an important reminder there.
George Beebe, thank you so much for keeping us honest there.
You're welcome.